Yogi Ramsuratkumar Ashram. As we have been seeing and saying that Bhagwan has provided this opportunity for all of us to be able to sing His name together without any excuse. It's a matter for deep gratitude on our part, and we shall offer our endless grateful pranams. Now today, once again, we will relive the experiences of some devotees. To begin with, Shyama Shastri. He is well known among the devotees of Bhagwan. The first time on January 1st, 1994, Bhagwan called him, Mani, will you? That is, Mani wanted to arrange Ram Nama in Tiruvannamalai, in Voyamatam. So Bhagwan called him Mani. And Shyama Shastri says that just in that one calling, he says he became, Mani has M-A-N, man. He says he became man. The ego was destroyed and he became a Manusha. He became a man. He says the ego was like an animal in him, and in one call from Bhagwan, the ego animal died and he became a Manusha. And 26, the same January, when Shimani was seated near Bhagwan, Bhagwan declared, Mani, this beggar thinks of money in madness. This beggar thinks of money in madness. Father says, money will build temples for this beggar and play Suprabhatam for this beggar. And he went on repeating it, money. This beggar thinks of money in madness. Father says, money will build temples and play Suprabhatam for this beggar. Mani had no idea at all what Bhagwan was talking about. He simply sat there smiling with folded hands, knowing that the meaning would unfold itself sometime. The next day, the 27th, Bhagwan came to the ground of the ashram. In those days, there was no building at all. So Bhagwan sat in the middle of the ashram, looking up at the mountain and smoking. We were all seated with him. A dog out of nowhere came and sat before Bhagwan. A little distance away from Bhagwan, it just sat the way the dogs sit. Bhagwan said, "Mani, can you see a friend here?" Mani saw the Bhairava. The dog is known as Bhairava in Sanskrit mythology. So he said, "Yes, Swami. Yes, Bhagwan. Mani, he looks like Nandi. Nandi is always before Lord Shiva." And then we knew that Bhagwan was referring to himself as Lord Shiva. The dog was sitting in front of Bhagwan, truly like Nandi, and we knew instantly who Lord Shiva was. And then this declaration was followed by peals of laughter. He just went on laughing so much. It looked as though the whole world was drawn with him. And Mani remembers another incident in the breakfast hut. After Bhagwan came, that Bhagwan would come exactly at 7 o'clock, and when he entered the ashram, there would be a line of devotees and the workers. And Bhagwan would ask the driver to go slowly. He would raise his hand, look each one straight in the eye, his penetrating gaze upon everyone without missing anyone, and raise his hand in benediction. And then he would go straight to the breakfast hut, and after everybody was seated, Bhagwan would open a topic. Either he would ask Shri Mani for some news, or he would open a topic and then the discussion would follow. Mostly Bhagwan would be asking somebody something about something. Now that day, it was a topic, the talk was about the three murtis of Carnatic music. Shyama Shastri, Muthuswamy Dikshitar, Thyagaraja, Thyagaraja. Mani said, "Swami, Tyagaya always felt the presence of Sri Rama. He felt that Sri Rama was with him all the time." Immediately Bhagwan asked him, "What about Mani? He is also serving Sri Rama, no doubt about it." The words from Bhagwan. What about Mani? He is also serving Sri Rama, no doubt about it. So, that day we all felt that he was Lord Shiva, and this day everybody felt that Bhagwan was Lord Rama. So there were occasions, various occasions, where he revealed that he was at once Shiva, Mahavishnu, Rama, Krishna, Ambika, Muruga. Whatever everyone thought, he was like a mirror. Whatever is your Ishta Devata, when you go stand before this mirror, your Ishta Devata will be reflected. Didn't Bhagwan say oftentimes that in him, in the body, there was only Father, nothing else, no one else. That every look of his, every word he uttered, every gesture of his, every step that he took, it was Father, and his work was getting done. So, whoever is your Ishta Devata, some Christians said that they saw Jesus Christ in him. The Muslims came and worshipped him as their God. The Parsis came, they worshipped him, and they became better Parsis. A Christian became a better Christian, a Muslim became a better Muslim, a Parsi became a better Parsi. The worship of him established them further in their faith, and they saw what they wanted to see. Mani describes another interesting incident. When the meditation hall was under construction, the Swagat Mandap was over already, and this meditation hall was done on the first floor, and Bhagwan used to go up there and sit and smoke. Now one day he saw some young children of a school coming inside, and immediately he got up, he went down, he said, "This beggar would like to see those students." And then they were all seated in several rows. So Bhagwan went round and round and round, and there were many other people who had come for his darshan, all rich people with rich offerings. Bhagwan did not even glance towards them. He started to go round and round these young children, students of a primary school. And then suddenly he came and sat down in front of a girl, in front of one small girl. And then he stretched out his coconut shell. He said, "Do you have anything to offer to this beggar? Do you have anything to give?" Then the girl thought Bhagwan was asking, that she did not know for a few minutes, she did not know what to give, what Bhagwan was asking for. She hastily opened a small bag she had brought and pulled out a coin. Bhagwan said, "No," and then he pointed out the tiffin box. That girl seemed to be very poor. She looked very poor. She must have come from a poor background. And Bhagwan said, "Will you open and give me something from what you have brought?" And the girl immediately opened, very excited. She opened that, and it revealed 2 idlis. Then Bhagwan said, "Please give me one." Bhagwan was literally begging. And the girl smiled. She didn't know what to do. Everybody was smiling. Everybody was watching with rapt attention. Here was some Leela that was stretching out, and it was at once interesting and very divine. Then that girl took one idli and put it there, and Bhagwan said, enough, enough. And then he got up, he went to the dais, he gave a little piece to each one of us. One piece went to Mani also. And then he ate the rest of the idli with such relish, to the delight of everyone present there. You can imagine how delighted the girl would have been. We do not know what background it was, how she got those idlis. There must have been something that invited this Leela from Bhagwan. So, you see, we will never know, you can never take Bhagwan for granted. We would never know what he would say next, what he would do next. Then he made the declaration. He said, oh, this beggar was able to beg after so long a time. Father gave this beggar an opportunity to beg after a long time. And he enjoyed saying that. He smiled. He said it with relish. Oh, Father, Father today gave this beggar a chance to beg after so many years. What a delight. He was absolutely delighted. It drew smiles from everybody, though many of us did not understand what was happening. But it was a sight for the gods, a great delight for everyone. And after that, I wanted the coconut shell in order to wash that. Bhagwan would not give me. He said, there is no need to wash. It was as though he was preserving that moment of begging this particular girl for idli. He did not even want any of us to wash his coconut shell. Now we shall come to, let us shift to another devotee, another situation, a different scene. Dr. Shankararajulu, he was also well known among the devotees. He was here in Tiruvannamalai. He was working as the principal of this government arts college near the ashram. And he used to come to Bhagwan very frequently. And Bhagwan helped him solve many problems. He was an ardent devotee of Bhagwan. But he got transferred from Tiruvannamalai. His house was in Tirunnagar, Madurai. He had fixed the betrothal function one evening, and he had invited the bridegroom's party also to his house for the function, for the betrothal. But as it happened in those days and even now, the current was cut off. There was no electricity. So he kept some petromax lamps ready, but still that was not enough. When the current goes off, people would not look upon it as a good omen. He was very embarrassed. And then he started to pray he started to chant Bhagwan's name, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Why would the electricity go? And then he ran out, he walked up to the place where the transformer was. He stood before that, and he was chanting almost loudly, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, hoping for some electrician to come that way to do the repairing. Hardly 2 minutes passed, a cyclist was passing by, and suddenly, seeing Dr. Shankararajulu there, he stopped, he came over to him and asked why he was standing there. Then Dr. Shankararajulu started to explain. He had the news that the bridegroom's people had already entered their street. They were coming towards this house. But then they came to know there was no electricity in the house. Immediately, instead of proceeding further, they went to the nearby Ganapati temple and sat there in the mandap, saying, let the electricity come, and then we would enter the house. So it doubled the embarrassment of Dr. Shankararajulu. He was now desperately chanting Bhagwan's name, begging him to do something. And that's when the cyclist stopped near and asked for the reason. And as soon as Dr. Shankararajulu explained, the cyclist said, please don't worry, I'm an engineer in the electricity board. I will immediately send you an electrician here who would make it all right. Please don't worry. And what is more, the electrician would stay through the function. In case something should go wrong again, he would be there available. And immediately he left the place. Now Dr. Shankararajulu was very happy. Just imagine, he's walking over to the transformer, chanting Bhagwan's name. An engineer in the electricity board should pass by. What was more, he came and stopped near, asked Dr. Shankararajulu and assured him that it would be set right soon. We can't even imagine such arrangement of circumstances except by grace. So the function, the electricity came immediately, and the bridegroom's party visited the house, and the function went off very well. What was more, the electrician stayed through the function. This is the glory of Bhagwan's Nama. Dr. Shankararajulu says, hardly 2 minutes passed. 2 minutes of his chanting the name, and the cyclist came. And 2 minutes he waited, the electrician came and set it right. So everything went off well as they expected, and there was happiness all around. Now we shall see one more glimpse of Bhagwan. Now this is about Sri Pondraj, who passed away recently on November 30th, unexpectedly. Many of us felt the loss, felt very sad at the demise, this unexpected demise of Sri Pondraj. He has written an article in one of the magazines where he says that he was from a background, from a home where people would not worship human beings. They knew father, mother, and they would straight away go to the deity. There was no Guru Mahatma for them. So he was not used to worshipping the god men. But somebody, a relative of his, came home, it was his birthday, So he was compelling Shri Ponraj to come and have darshan of Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar at Sannidhi Street House. So Shri Ponraj accompanied him, not particularly interested, but all the same something drew him to Shri Yogiji. When he was seated there in front of Bhagwan, he could not see him as God or anything. He could not even prostrate before him. That is, falling, literally falling at his feet, the full length of his body. He just sat there. He folded his hands in namaskar and then sat there. And suddenly the Sai Baba, the dog, the Bhairava that Bhagwan was keeping, got up, and then it occupied Shri Ponraj's lap. Shri Ponraj was not used to animals or touching them or fondling. So he did not like it one bit when this Sai Baba came and occupied his lap. But then, and what was more, to his dismay, the saliva was oozing out of the mouth of Sai Baba, the dog. He did not like it one bit. Normally he would not have tolerated it even. But then that day, he found it very strange that he was able to accept it. He said, it's all due to Bhagwan's presence that he was able to accept it. He also thought it was a special blessing of Bhagwan upon him. And when they left, instead of doing namaskar to him like everybody else, falling at his feet, the full length of his body, he just stood there with folded hands, and then he shook hands with him. Shri Ponraj shook hands with Bhagwan, and then just folded his hands in namaskar and left. That was when he was in Kadalur. Then soon after he shifted to Chennai. They were living in a flat. He says at that time something happened, that his wife, some small mistake on the part of these people, but then it triggered something very big, a big agitation among the next door people, with the result they began to fight with these people, which turned violent. And finally, he was forced to prostrate before them, much against his will, because it was such a small thing, and they made a mountain out of it, and they demanded a pardon. They demanded that he begged their pardon. So in order to close this problem altogether, he finally had to obey it. But he did not like it one bit. He was very bitter. The whole thing was unpleasant. But he says, immediately after that, they had to come out of the flat. But immediately after that, a devotee of Bhagwan came and stayed with them for one full day and found a place in a relative's house for them. Still, he was very upset about the whole thing. 2 days after, when he went to have darshan of Bhagwan, he reached Sannidhi Street House. What did he see? Bhagwan was seated there on the very steps, and there was a lot of crowd. Bhagwan called them one by one and was dismissing each one with Ram Ram, my father blesses you, or a pat on the back. Even very rich people had come, some VIPs had come, but all of them received the same treatment. There were 3 people from the slums, very poor people. They were actually the sweepers, the municipal sweepers. But Bhagwan gave the same attention to them. He showed the same love towards them and blessed them nicely. This impressed her. Shri Pondaraj was very much impressed with that. And when the crowd cleared out, Bhagwan called him inside. He took him inside. And then with great love and tenderness, Bhagwan stroked him from head down to the hand and said, "It's all right, it's all right. It will be all right soon. It will be all right. Everything will be all right soon." Such wonderful love, a wonderful gesture of kindness, compassion, that Shri Pondaraj was deeply touched. It was such a balm for his wound. And Bhagwan set it right in a minute with just one stroke of his hand, love pouring from his radiant face. And what was more, Bhagwan took him to the corridor behind and took a photograph with him. So when Shri Pondaraj came out, he was completely a different man. He was full of love of Bhagwan. He was full of grace that Bhagwan poured on him. Now today, Shri Pondaraj has reached the lotus feet of Bhagwan, now sitting in his lap with a happy smile on his face. Bhagwan has promised that all those people who chant his name, in the last moment, he would come in person. He would be seen by them. He would come in person, sit by their side, and take them by hand. The eternal promise from Bhagwan. And so Shri Pondaraj is now with him at peace. Now there's one curious thing. When Pondaraj went to Bhagwan's house, when he was very upset because of the unpleasant incident, after Bhagwan stroked him, filled him with his love and grace, and even arranged for a photograph to be taken with him, this time Pondaraj did not miss his Sashtanga Namaskar. He laid his whole body on the floor before Bhagwan and did a Sashtanga Namaskar, which he missed out the other time. And today, there is no need even for Sashtanga Namaskar. He is one with Bhagwan. And let us offer our Namaskarams to him also. We saw how Bhagwan revealed that he was Sri Rama, he was Sri Shiva, and how in a fraction of a second he could bring an engineer from electricity board so that he could make his devotee happy. And we also saw how how much solace and succor he gave to Sri Pondraj. Now this Bhagwan is here right in front of us. We shall offer our today's prayers at his feet. Bhagwan, kindly remove the panic from the hearts of people, stop the spread of the disease, and extricate the whole world from the clutches of this virulent virus, and bring back normalcy in every aspect of life. Bhagwan, above all, they say you have entered a vaccine and you have given it the power to kill this. So the vaccination drive is on, which is the news that we have been waiting for all along. We thank you heartily and we beg you for a special gift of grace from you for this vaccine to reach all those people who have been infected promptly. And Bhagwan, please give a lift to the falling economy and all those people, the sevaks, who are involved in fighting the disease at the very risk of their lives. Please give them protection. We beg you again and again to remember your name constantly and to go about our life as a fitting instrument in your hand. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.